Well, hey, and welcome everybody. I'm so excited to be here with you today. This is your virtual financial team prosperity Wednesday meeting, and today is July 29th, 2020. Wednesdays at noon is kind of a weird time for a meeting, so I really appreciate everybody's time for the people that are able to make it live, as well as all the people that listen to the recording. We do post it everywhere, so definitely if your people aren't on here, let them know to catch the recording. What I wanted to talk about today, I'm really excited. There's been so many great announcements happening, and I wanted to go over just a few of them and see what's going on and talk a little bit about the important things that are happening. And then after me, Mike is going to do his presentation, which I know is going to be really, really good, so I can't wait for that. So I hope everybody's doing well, and I wanted to start my little slide share with a little bit of fun, living dangerously. I noticed you co-founded a startup. I too like to live dangerously. So a fun little meme because, we are all building our own business. This is your startup. So there's always big announcements, exciting things happening. July 29th, 2020 is a really exciting time in the business. Things are really, really exploding, and I hope your business is too. So the first announcement that I wanted to go over is next Wednesday at this time, we're going to have an annuity training. It's going to be done by Julie Stewart, who's our Crump WFG annuity wholesaler. She's really, really great, and she's always got a lot of, big news, what's going on. There's always some good sales strategies that she goes over, some good examples. So if you're able to make it next Wednesday at noon, our regular meeting place, regular meeting time, she's going to be doing a great annuities training. So the other big announcement, of course, this week is our new E&O. You really want to get that done in the next 2 days if you have old E&O. Comparably, it's actually $5 less for the quarter, but the great thing is that we don't have to administer it anymore. It's done by third-party Marsh. They have great reviews, they have great support, real easy to set it up. You're going to be getting a lot of notices about it. Just click on any of them or just go into WFG and click on the first notice. Of course, we still get the $70 a month rebate. So if you're writing minimal production and you have a 60% or higher net point ratio, where ours is in the 80s or 90s always, you're going to be getting that full reimbursement. And the way that it works is, for example, if you write 6,000 points in January, you actually get the $70 production bonus the next 3 months. So 2,000 annualized points a month, 4,000 for 2 months, or 6,000 for 3 months, and you get all of your E&O and $5 back, basically. So it's a great deal. I don't know what other companies offer no-cost E&O if you're writing, business. So the other exciting thing that I want to make sure that everybody has access to is our virtual financial university. And this is a great place to go if you want to know more about the tier system, what each tier looks like. And if you want to know, the easiest way to get there is just from your CRM. You're going to go ahead and click on oh, you know what? I don't know how this moves. It's actually this VF circle, the blue VF circle. My little arrow moved when I copied and pasted it. But once you hit that VF circle, you're going to hit the main menu and go to the VF University. I'm also putting the direct link into my Tier 6 shortcuts email. And if anybody needs it, just reach out to me and I'll shoot you over the direct link for you and your people. But this is a great place to get like the training calendar, all of the scripts, inviter scripts, manager scripts, SEP in 90 days, all kinds of stuff that if you want to look at it, it's there for you, as well as every single tier is recorded with the steps. Here's just screenshots of the first 2, but all 6 are in there for you. So there's a lot of good stuff in there. If you haven't checked out the university, definitely go in there. It's going to be a great resource. Okay, so I'm going to kind of change and talk a little bit about consulting and some great things that are coming up right now. There's no better time to do a policy review right now. People are at home. You know, they want to make sure that everything is set up correctly and that somebody's in their corner. So we have a great big new announcement with Transamerica and Everest. It actually backdates to other people's IULs that have a face value of $250,000 or more. So it's just another great reason to reach out to your clients and do a client service. You're going to be seeing a ton of information in your email about speaker series to go over, you know, all of the additions. There's a press release, tons of webinars. But the idea is they've been working on this for 4 years. This is going to be a no-cost rider for new clients moving forward, as well as your old existing FFIUL clients that have a policy over $250,000. And on the new e-apps in the states that it's available already, it's just going to be a pop-up. And the big thing is just consent to share information, so they're able to help with the planning process. And it's pretty exciting stuff. It's another great reason to reach out to your existing clients. This can be added to new plans as well as to the old plans like I was just talking about. Part of the benefit is they get $25,000 in 72 hours while the rest of the claim goes out, and then Everest helps them like price shop and plan, and they basically have a concierge for final expenses and, you know, final needs, so they don't have to do everything on their own. And I know personally from planning 2 funerals, it's a lot of work. And when you're grieving, it's nice to have, you know, an additional resource in your corner or an additional resource for your clients in their corner. So again, there's a ton of training on this. There's 2 new websites, marketing materials, consumer videos, etc. Check your email. If you don't have it, ask me. I'll forward you mine. But pretty much anybody that's appointed with Transamerica or with Everest or with both is getting all of these emails. Again, there's a ton of agent materials, all kinds of cool stuff. If you're not a financial professional, you don't even need to worry about it. And that's one of the cool things about having the tier system, that you can build a team and you can have, you know, people within your team doing some of this stuff. You can have people outside of your team. So you don't have to know all of this stuff, but I did want to go over it with, you know, the consultants as well as, you know, the inviters, because we want to know like some of the great benefits that we have for our clients. So honestly, as long as you follow the system, try to use all the tools, ask for help, you know, try to build a team, help others, it's going to happen for you. You know, I know it will. We're all here in your corner, and you know, we're all a little bit crazy. We're all a little bit broken, right? That's how the light gets in. I love this picture. It's so true, right? We're all so incredibly unique, and that's what makes us special. We have great tools. You're at a great time right now where the book came out. It's all over the place. You know, we've got our virtual financial channel built into WealthWave. We've got our Team Prosperity channel, SMD channel, built into WealthWave as well. If you need those links, let us know. But you've got a ton of tools, support, so please let us know how we can help you. But the bottom line is work, right? That's how you get it. So all we have is now. Let's make it happen. Let me go ahead and grab Mike, and I can't wait for his presentation. Thank you so much.
All right, you guys, hope everybody's doing well. Just a couple of things about what Alana said. The next week, Wednesday team training with Julie Stewart on annuities. That's really good stuff. You know, the pensions of past that our grandparents had, our great-grandparents, they're gone. So what we try to do is, if appropriate, under the right conditions, we try to replace that pension, because I don't know if you guys have ever been like paid like once a month. You get the check. By the time the next month comes around, it starts to get a little bit dicey towards the end of that before you get paid again. Same thing with retiring. If you got $500, you got $1 million, you got $2 million, lump sum, you continuously extract money from that, it's going to dwindle. So you need a plan of action. That's what we do. We come in and we solve the puzzle. So that's an important thing. Now, her previous trainings, she's security licensed. I cannot put that online on the normal channel. So what it is her presentations in terms of the PDF or the PowerPoint is in our Team Prosperity channel in the WealthWave. So you have all these channels in WealthWave. You have a virtual financial channel. That was a plug-in. You also have our team channel. That's a plug-in as well. The Transamerica Everest announcement, the only thing I want to note about that is you can see in this industry as well as every other industry, right now, companies are trying to improve the client experience to take market share. We're no different. And then on the book, the media tour, all of those things in the How Money Works channel inside Wealthwave 360 under the media section. You can get all the interviews. You can get all the articles that have been written about the book. So I just want to highlight those few things and then go into some things that will hopefully help you guys build your business. We're coming into a very, very, very good time of the year historically for our industry. So what you want to do is make sure that you just put forth the effort to try to capitalize on a good time of the year. 12-week year, we just finished week 7. Main area concentration this week was preparing to work for the next upcoming weeks to do exactly what we just said. Capitalize on the sweet spot for our business in terms of the calendar year and making sure that we do enough to manufacture enough to build our business. It's not hard. We've got the tools, we've got the processes, we've got the products. Remember, we supply the human element of this infrastructure. Goals should be something that you're always thinking about. Cash flow is a great scorecard to measure how things are going, and you're constantly getting paid here. Once this starts to gain velocity and you've got multiple directions of growth, you're getting paid all the time. There's 9 pay periods per month. You get advance on submission, which is unheard of in the industry, meaning that you get 40% of that 100% as soon as that policy is e-signed and it goes to the carrier. And we have an aggregate, in terms of all products towards the bonuses. So understand what you're trying to do and understand how you measure yourself. First of all, it can't be on cash flow. Your first measurements will be on activity, knowing that that's the leading indicator that will produce cash flow. Once you've been in here for a period of time, your measurement needs to start including cash flow. It's a great scorecard, like I said. One of the ways that you guys can really help your partners out and help your organizational growth out is just learn that, okay, if we're looking at our cash flow, looking at ways to improve the cash flow, one of the ways is if a conversation's ending, make sure you ask them. And we put this in the scripts as a little, yellow warning to remember, one last question. Do you pay out of pocket for term life insurance? We're trying to pre-qualify them to see if they have it. And if it's not group, if it's individual, because we know the upgrade market is tremendous. And if we ask that question enough, we should get 3 to 5 easy sales per month out of that, and that helps the new partner, and that helps our organizational growth. There are millions of these policies out here over the next 7, 8, 9, 10 years that need to be upgraded. Just having a conversation and asking that question enough will uncover those. Remember, keep track of things. Yes, we're keeping track of the scorecard in terms of cash flow. What does our direct deposit look like each time a pay cycle goes out, and why does it look so great, or why does it look so terrible? And then other things have to be tracked. If you are going somewhere, you need to know exactly where you want to go. Like the GPS, you plug in the address, it takes you there. Same thing with your goals. You have to know where you want to go, and you have to account for how close or how far away I am. Just drifting through life on the personal or professional side, you never get much done. The more that you actually anchor down and get determined to, have everything in place that you need to become successful, habits start to form. When habits take over on a good level, you gain a lot of self-confidence and you gain a lot of growth. And that allows you to go out and talk to the people that come in your organization. If you've set forth an example in terms of what you do on a daily basis in terms of activity, accountability, leadership, growth, all of these things, it's a lot easier to ask the people that are coming in under you to do the same exact thing. Don't set them up for unknown expectations. Let them know exactly what you need them to do. Give them homework. Have a growth cycle in terms of what you're looking for. Now, everybody's not going to grow at the same rate. That's impossible. So you've got to kind of understand who you're working with and give them goals based on what you think is achievable, and it's going to get them into a position to grow, to get them along the line to where hopefully they can become independent of you one day. If you're just out there and there's no communication, there's no goals, there's no homework, there's no growth, that person's not going to be by your side very long. Last week we went through, changes to the activity reporting, which we're going to start this coming week. We went through, what virtual financial means in terms of our understanding and our explanation to the marketplace in terms of innovation creates growth. We're a leadership factory, how to operate that factory, getting started as a new partner, conducting webinars and online presentations. You've got to get over your fear of being out there, speaking, being in front of people. There's master classes in the WealthWave 360. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do once you just, drop the fear factor and just realize that everything out there is not a Hollywood production. Many people are just going online, and it's real, authentic, and people will buy into that, and understanding your market and your audience's generation. So we talked about this a little last week, but all we want to do is, normally what happened is anybody that was filling out an activity sheet that wanted to participate, they just emailed it to me on Sunday, and then I posted a master sheet in the Facebook group, but I gave individual feedback. So what we're going to start doing now is I'm going to make a post in the Facebook group. Anybody that wants to participate and give a little summary of their week in terms of their activity, and then I can give feedback, other people can get feedback, other people can ask questions. Hopefully we make it interactive to attract more people, and by making it more public, somebody might have that same problem, but they're not participating, and they get the answer through this process. So that's what we're going to start doing. Hopefully it works, and I think it will, but we'll start that this coming week. And really all we're trying to do with the activity, guys, is give your partners an idea of what needs to be done. Remember, we're going to know exactly on the right-hand side, on the tier activity, revenue, income, all these things. That's going to be black and white. What isn't is what's on the front side that's either manufacturing these results or not. And if it's not, and we know what's going on, it's a lot easier for us to uncover the problem, alleviate the blockage, whatever it is that we need to do. If it's something where we're just, from your side, you're coming up with just general blanketed statements about what you're doing, you're going to get the same type of help. The more specific that you can be, the more specific we can be in our help. And all this stuff is doing is stuff that we've recognized as things that will open a pipeline on the front end and start to manufacture some interest that will produce some outcomes. That's all we're doing. And we know out of those outcomes what we have to offer on the client and partner side, there will be a percentage of positive outcomes. Also, one of the things that we've gone over recently is data. Remember, the cold market can't be your entire business. LinkedIn cannot be your entire business. But if you start putting multiple legs together, that's a business plan. So the data that we have, basically what it comes down to is if you're looking for a quality phone, then we've got that. But recognize that data will have no emails on it, or the emails on it will probably be bad. Now, on the other side, if you're looking for emails, generally what I do is I extract all the Gmails out of it, and I'm getting a 95+% valid rate. And then, on those, the phone numbers generally aren't right. So you've got to come up with how you're going to get in front of these people. If you want data, we've got a ton of filters. Just let me know what you're looking for. We can help you. But like I said, you can't live in the cold market because you will die in the cold market. You can't live just on LinkedIn because it's not going to work. Multiple avenues, multiple marketing legs, not only for yourself, but that puts you in a position to teach other people. We released the team channel. If you guys don't have it, we have the plug-in, the URL. You just need to be logged into your WealthWave 360. Put that URL in. You're good to go. It's got videos, emails. It's got documents that I think are good and supportive for you and your team's growth. So we're pretty excited about that. We'll continue to add stuff to that as well. And you guys need to understand, we've put together over the past, 12 months, a real business model that incorporates different types of partnerships. So you have to understand that for your own understanding and as you explain it to others, our partnerships are strategic and everybody serves a purpose. It's not just randomly thrown together. This is what it looks like: WealthWave, Virtual, WFG. And when you look at this, first thing on the front end, our affiliation, our partnership with WealthWave provides us with some great marketing in terms of the look, the content, the system that we can use, and it provides us with a couple of our key missions: How Money Works and Employee to Entrepreneur. Remember, people are going to get behind why you do what you do. The missions, well received in the marketplace: How Money Works and E2E, Employee to Entrepreneur. That's what WealthWave gives us. We're very thankful for that relationship. Now, when you look at How Money Works and you look at E2E, if those are your two missions, then you need to learn how to take something like your LinkedIn profile and turn it from a resume type of profile into a showcase of what you do. So, for example, Virtual Financial could be a work experience. Above that could be the E2E. Above that could be the How Money Works. So now if I go to your profile, I'm landing on a bunch of stuff that you do, understanding your business model, and you're giving me access to additional links, to your calendar, things where I can take that LinkedIn profile and turn it into a marketing asset now. So understand, and just a quick note, in the WealthWave 360, our team channel in documents and support is something called LinkedIn hacks, top 10 secrets. That's how you should be organizing your profile. Works very well. And then finally, or secondarily, virtual financial in the middle. We talked about this a little bit last week, but the innovation creates growth. So the way that we're changing the way these agencies are built, operated, and managed with a 100% digital model, that innovation creates the growth. So you want to make sure that you understand your missions, but you also don't want to lose your identity as a disruptor and an innovator in terms of the technological aspect of what virtual brings to the table and is applying to the industry. And then finally, kind of like the silent IMO platform partner, is WFG. And WFG provides all of our administration, and we are thankful to have them because if you look at the visual representation, these should actually be smaller, but those are IMOs all around the country, and this is the WFG Transamerica IMO. So when you look at this platform, it has the ability to absorb massive growth. And you can't have a digital model that creates a viral exponential growth curve and have some type of flimsy infrastructure on the back end to handle it. So understand that when you grow, and when you grow big, you don't have to worry about it crumbling on the back end because it's absorbed in a very orderly way. So that's what they provide, and that's the advantage. I've seen a lot of people come in, seen some people go, seen some people stick around for a while and go. I will tell you that there is no point to short-term success in a business model like this. If you're going to come in, press the pedal down, accelerate very quickly in the beginning, and then drift away, no matter what you accomplish on the front side, you've got a leadership vacuum from the time that you're absent, and that crumbles the existing business. No matter how great of a marketer or recruiter you are, you've got to be in there for your people. They're in business for themselves, but they can't be in business, by themselves, just out on a desert island feeling like there's no support. So when you look at your recent organization and your recent recruits, you just have to ask yourself and be honest, is this the best that you can do? Because the initial hiring and recruiting process is really what I consider a learning curve. When you develop a persona of who you want to work with, who you like to surround yourself with, who you think that you can help out the most, and who you think that can help you out the most, you start to identify those people. In the beginning, I hired random people because I didn't have my persona. Persona comes from some examples that you see, but also comes from your own self in terms of who you want to work with on the client side, who you want to work with on the partner side, and being able to develop messages that resonate with those people and have them raise their hand and say, yeah, I want more information. Yes, I want to talk about this. So understand, if you go through a period of time where your hires, recruits, things aren't working out for you, take a minute to reflect and take a minute to adjust because you will get better at doing this if you apply it. It starts with a mindset. So, yes, we've all got income. We've all got financial goals. We've all got selfish things we want to do. That's one of the things we have to have in place because this is hard work. It's not out there digging ditches or not in a coal mine, but it is a lot of work to put a business together from absolutely nothing except infrastructure. So when you start to get in the mindset of serving people, helping others, and get excited about that, everything else takes care of itself. So you build your business. You don't build your business per se. You build people. And when you attract talent and when you bring the right people in and surround yourself with those right people, watch what happens because a lot of great things can happen as a team where on an individual basis you can only accomplish so much. It's going to be hard work. Like I said, it's not manual labor, but there are going to be people that come in that disappoint you. There are going to be times that, maybe a big policy is declined or something goes wrong in your business. We offer a legitimate business opportunity, but definitely not a problem-free business opportunity. You can't find any entrepreneur, any business owner that you can interview that says, oh, yeah, I never have any problems with my business. Tell yourself what you're going to do, be emphatic about it, and then go out and make it happen. Remember, as you take through the steps of where you want to go in this business model, the distribution, the business ownership, the cash flow asset, the passive income is the end point. You've got to go through the process to get there, understanding that when you build that office, and take over that office. You get paid to take that over, but people still need you. They still got questions. You're still fulfilling some of those roles. So that's still self-employed. No matter where you are, 1 day, 1 year, 3 years into this business, you always want to be eyeing distribution and continue to put together the infrastructure that will support it, not on any other level because it's provided for you, but the human element level. A lot of ways to make $1 million. If somebody wants to work for a couple decades or somebody wants to put something together where they've got recurring cash flow coming in, a lot of different ways. So when you're out there talking to people, the cash flow quadrant identifies how they understand about how to make and earn money. And you can't change somebody's mindset. You can't make an employee an entrepreneur, but you can help the ones that are looking to make that bridge do so in an effective way. So understand when somebody earns money and somebody is earning money, it tells you a lot about how they understand about how money works. And we talked about the cash flow quadrant, and I tell you guys continuously, I use this as my first filter to make sure that I'm talking to the right appropriate person that's either looking to make that transfer or they're already over on the side where they understand. And then also outside of that, you've got to pick people you can work with. The R, those are people who are always right. You cannot work with somebody and you cannot teach somebody anything who already knows everything. Second person is the comfort. That's the person who wants to remain in the comfort zone, not stick outside, not creep outside that zone. They're not looking for any growth. They're not looking for any of those things that we look for in this business model. You can't really do much with those people. Those people who have to be liked by everybody. You're not going to start a business. You're not going to go out there and market. You're not going to go out there and recruit. And you're not going to go out there and sell and expect everybody to like you. If that's the type of person that you're talking to, they stand very little chance in this business to become successful just because Grant Cardone said it best. I need half the room to hate me, half the room to love me. I'm good with that. So same thing here. You're looking for this quadrant. You're looking for the people who have already won in life and are looking to continue to win on a major level, or those people still looking to win in life, but they've got a deep burning desire to do so. That's the people I want to work with. Those make the best partners. The people that come in, they're going to school. You get paid to go to school, which is nice, but you earn a degree in disruption, distribution, and digital marketing. Your degree potentially sets you up for lifetime income. So you have to understand, like we talked about just a minute ago, yes, we're looking for successful people, but we're also looking for people who are humble enough still to submit to a system, go to school, and learn this. This is what distribution looks like. This is what we're trying to create in financial services. It will happen for you, but you're still organizing. And you remember, if you have an assembly line, if you have a factory, if you have this giant building, you have absolutely no employees or partners to help you run it, you're only going to expect to be able to accomplish so much. Once you have everybody in place, the distribution channel cranks up. I'd say 7 to 10 business partners is your core. Company says 5 to 7. I like to pad that a little bit. Now, these are not recruits. These are core business partners. Depending on your persona, depending on how well you are at what you do, it might take X amount, a multiple of these people to get the 7 to 10. But what you have to understand is when you get those 7 to 10 core people, then you have an enormous foundation built with leadership that will start to build the multiple channels of distribution all around this country that manifest and grow into, I don't know how many offices that will open out of this. But this is what you're looking for. If somebody's wasting your time, somebody's not willing to work, you instantly, 30, 60 days, get into the partnership and realize, hey, this is not going to be one of my 7 to 10. If somebody's having activity, you don't cut them off. But if they're refusing to do what you need them to do, your time investment has to be very, very limited in that person. You want to up the goal. Little goals invite excuses. So when your goals are big enough, the lies and excuses are no longer an option. That's why we take on a big industry. That's why we have this infrastructure for you guys. That's why we put you in a position where, hey, the point of resistance of scalability from this business model is basically removed. So why not you? Why not that partner? It's no reason. We've got a level playing field. So for your partners or the people that you're talking to out in the outside marketplace, especially this year, it's been a big pity party. People need to pull themselves together. They need to take ownership of their future and ownership of the direction they want to take their lives. So remember these type of things for yourself, your partners, but also when you're marketing to attract the right type of people. You don't want people that are continually dwelling on their problems and not looking for solutions. There's no downside to competition from within. Our business model is about to explode in terms of a growth curve over the next probably 12, 18, 24 months. When that happens, the people that have put in the work to absorb it with the foundations will fare the best. However, as those things are starting to happen and you see people start to grow, be happy for them. Don't be jealous, but have that light of fire underneath you. Keep pace with what's happening around you. Top earnings in this platform is enormous. So like we talk about, there's no point of resistance for scalability in terms of the growth, and that includes your income and your revenue possibilities as well. Disruptive technology, which we brought to the marketplace, plus a very cash flush industry, is a very explosive opportunity. So once again, you are looking for partners who are willing to put in the work and are motivated enough to understand the vision and help you create it to be a reality. Are they committed to a better future? That's the biggest question. And when you are committed to a better future, your partners, your clients, it becomes very easy to work with those people because, once again, they are not dwelling on problems. They're looking for solutions to create the life they want instead of just, dealing with the life that was handed to them. Leadership, clients, partners, and professionals that we provide, our products providers, that huge broker platform, the technology and the social media, the tools, all of these things are learning how to use leverage in your business. You need to have a plan of action for your partners that establishes a true, legitimate route to get them to senior vice president, take over an office, and then create offices. Mass recruiting is only going to be so effective because you're throwing things against the wall. I prefer bringing groups of people at a time, find out who I think is going to be that person that can be one of my core partners, and put some time investment into them. So produce 3 to 5 senior vice presidents a year is perfect. Now, that could speed up with the business velocity, but 3 to 5 right now is a good number. This is an engaging career. You'll work like you never worked before in terms of gaining skill set, putting things to use. Your thought process has to be different. It's possibilities versus probabilities. Your freedom for your partners, for your clients, for yourself, never free. And they're going to come from every demographic. So we reach every demographic, but you can't be everything to everyone. So some person in your organization is going to be that person to that person, but you're going to have your own persona. And by bringing people in from all across the spectrum in terms of demographics, we're going to reach all the demographics. So our business model is secure, and our business model is ready to explode. Don't get stuck. If things aren't going the way that you want them to go in your business or personal life, just draw a line in the sand, kind of reset. A lot of times when you're talking to clients, when you're talking to potential partners, the problems that they have all trace back to themselves. Addicted to comfort is a place that we cannot bring in partners because we need them to grow outside of that comfort zone because you're either growing or dying. There's either growth or decay in your business model. You've got to learn how to become your biggest fan. Learn how to turn your problems into projects and learn how to turn those into victories. The power of network marketing in terms of the conversations that we can open with the entrepreneurial development really is the key to success in a digital model like this. And you need to start skating to where the puck's going to be. It's a Wayne Gretzky quote. Not to where it is right now, but where it's going to be. So where's your business going to be 12, 24, 36 months? Start organizing a game plan around being able to go through those growth cycles and put yourself in a position where it's orderly and where you're on top of things. You know what? Money doesn't sleep, but it does get bored. An industry like this has been doing the same thing for so many years. When you look at the food chain, you've got the top level consumers all the way down to the bottom level decomposers. Well, who sits at the top of the profit chain? It's tiny innovation companies. By virtue of their immense competitive advantage of being so well entrenched within the market, they represent the very top of the food chain. Over time, no asset class, guys, has rewarded investors better. Not common stocks, not bonds, not real estate, not gold, not old master paintings, not collectibles, nothing. You guys are sitting on a golden opportunity to create an enormous amount of cash flow for yourself and the people around you in your life. You just have to go to work. It's not a question of enough. It's a zero-sum game. Market share is going to be moved from traditional to digital. And when you understand that, we're taking on a huge industry where these big companies have dominated for decades with a stale model. Digital environment has paved way for us, entrepreneurs, not insurance agents, entrepreneurs to take market share in this industry. Money transferred from traditional to digital and from producer to entrepreneur. You know, a disruptor changes things. When it leaves traditional and flows to digital, it's never going backwards. So what you're setting up now, you're leaning into the future, and that's really where your mindset needs to be. Can't do new things with old ways of thinking. So we're not looking at previous business models and saying, hey, how did these guys do it? Let's, replicate it. This is a new path, and we're the ones out there trailblazing. So understand, new ways of thinking have to accompany a new business model. You can see that through the historical disruption in retail, same things happening over here with us. You can see that there were less purchases or less visits yearly, but the margins were higher. Now when you get over here, there's many more purchases, many more visits, but the margins have shrunk basically to almost nothing. Now our margins are different, but the velocity in terms of a distribution model in e-commerce for insurance, I don't have to rely on a few big deals a year to make sure I cover my expenses. I can go out and sell $20, $30, $40, $50 term policies, but I'm going to have it going all over the country. So understand that we're not the producer chasing big deals. Those will come in. If you build a distribution model, it doesn't matter the premium, it matters the volume. And you can see here, it doesn't matter what you're looking at. This is Netflix, Blockbuster. This is replacing horses with trailers. Once we hit that inflection point and things start to erode for the existing traditional way and they start to pick up velocity for the innovation, the traditional model, the traditional way of doing things, it expires very, very, very quickly once we hit a certain point. You can look at, Marriott, 88 years to build almost 700,000 rooms. Airbnb, 4 years to amass 650. You can look at what happened to Uber over a very short period of time. So on a macro level, you're in the right place. On a micro level, you're in a great company. You will be a disruptor. We will be in that pyramid. The only difference is when you're applying disruption to a $1 trillion+ industry, there's a tidal wave of money that follows that. 0% chance I would be here if this was just an insurance agent job, an insurance producer, whatever it might be. We're here for disruption, we're here for distribution, and we're here, quite frankly, because we know there's a lot of money following this model that will be here very shortly. Innovation doesn't have to be a product, it's a process. So it's an old way versus a new way. When you understand that the new way creates or takes market share, the only thing that you want to understand is, well, does the innovation work? Yes. Will the marketplace accept it? Yes. Once those two questions are answered, it's really off to the races in terms of you had your idea, it's been validated by the marketplace. Now you put hard work behind that, give it some time, add in some discipline, and you've got a successful business model that's not going away. We've got a 50-year setup here. Pay the price today so you can pay any price tomorrow. That's all we're asking you to do is just go to work and put this together. And that boils down to sweat equity. It's not a big investment to come in this company, which is great. It levels the playing field. But what separates the people in the playing field is who's willing to go out there and invest the sweat equity over X period of time to make this happen. I'll give you a clue. Most people are not willing to invest much sweat equity. So once again, tightening your persona and making sure that the vision is understood and the motivation for wanting to create that is there. It's a 1-2 combination punch. If we were a boxer, we were representing our business model, we want to punch and lead with building and learning. Building on the client side, building on the partner side, and learning how to be more effective in both of those areas, both sides of our business. Building and learning, that's all you do every day. If you do that, you will find success here. And as you find success, relationships might change. So you might have some haters in the open marketplace. You might have some existing, internal relationships that change. When you do change, you might become a threat to all those who don't. So understand that your success might bring on some other things, collateral fallout, if you want to call it, but understand that it's not you. It's just the fact that the marketplace does have haters. Lots of people out there, get what we have, and they want to be a part of it. So I'm looking for people who are looking for me. I'm not trying to sell the opportunity. Yes, on the client side, there is some salesmanship. There's some rebuttals, handling objections, all those things is typical. But on the partner side, I want them to see this pretty instantly. If you constantly find yourself trying to prove your worth about your model or yourself to someone, you've already forgotten the value of what you're trying to represent. So understand that. Get rid of people early. If they're babying, if you have to baby them, if they're always just filled with problems, just get rid of them as early as possible. Filter these people out because they're going to become a drag on your business and your energy. Getting rich is not a fantasy. You know, most people, a lot of times today, when you look at how the general public views ultra successful people, they're scam artists, they're cheats, all of these things that have negative connotations. You know, getting rich is not a fantasy. Most people never even consider it a possibility because you look at these statistics, most are living paycheck to paycheck, half have no money for retirement, and almost half couldn't cover a $400 emergency. So people don't know how to make money, they don't know how to keep money, and almost no one knows how to multiply money. So when you look at these statistics, you got to be super careful about who you get advice from. I don't want advice from those people who are lumped into those categories because they're not doing something that's going to help me. Partner, client side, it doesn't matter. Understand and be careful who you get your advice from because a lot of people were brought up in a poor or middle class mindset. They inherit that. You know, a lot of us learn money from our parents, from our family, from our grandparents. And if it's a poor or middle class mindset, we inherit that. So what we try to teach people is break that. But if they're locked into that mindset, you know, why in the world are they giving people advice? Spend time with people, upgrade your market, you know, and you will, you know, get a heavy dividend and a positive ripple effect from that. Better your crowd, better your life. On the other side, the opposite side of that, if you surround yourself with people who are dragging you down, who are wasting your time, then that's going to have a negative effect on your life, whether it's personal or whether it's business. Upgrade your market, upgrade your network. That's the number one rule of money. And if you've got people out there where you on the partner side or the client side where you're in there offering solutions and somebody doesn't want to take that solution, they want to continue to complain about their financial situation, you need to move on from those people very quickly because you've offered a solution they're unwilling to take. They would rather live, you know, in their situation and have something to complain about. Got to take action. That's the most important part about what we teach. Take action and take control. Where's the line? Are they going to settle? You know, is the partner going to settle? Is the client going to settle? You're going to have to at some point, this is what we talk about when we're talking honestly to people in the marketplace, enough is enough. You're going to have to take control of your future because if you don't, the inaction obviously leads to that route where we have to describe that to them. It's not going to look too pretty 10, 20, 30 years down the road, whatever it might be. Internally, if you get into this business and the business doesn't start to manifest or grow as fast as you possibly thought it would, you can't start not believing it's not going to happen. You can't be prepared for something while secretly believing it's not going to happen. You've got to go out and sell this on a daily basis. The first person you sold it to was yourself. So keep that. Find something exciting about the business. Stay positive. Even in your worst of days, understand you're making progress to an endpoint. You want more, do more. This is not a hard business model to figure out. More activity, if it's activity that's directed and effective, you'll get more results. You know, it's not hard to figure this out. One of the things that I think that we get caught up with is on the psychological meter of day-to-day business activity is we always get caught up in what if. The what if on the negative side. What if this person doesn't make it? What if they're not interested? What if they get angry? What if they don't buy this policy? Instead, because of the laws of attraction, you should be always thinking about what if this next call is my, you know, one of those core group of partners? What if my next call ends up in a high dollar IUL or an annuity rollover or something? So don't dwell on the what ifs on the negative side. Concentrate on the what ifs that what could possibly happen that will blow your business up in terms of the growth of the partner, the client side, the revenue, the income side. What if should be a positive and not a negative. This year has been a little bit crazy. Think ahead. Start to work hard. Whatever you can accomplish through year end will give you great immediate impacts on your business, but also give you a springboard for 2021, 2022. There's no need to nurse this year's hangover. At the end of this year, which, will be right around the corner before you know it, where will you be? What will you have accomplished in this business, on your personal life, whatever goals you're working on? Will you be proud of yourself? Will you be disappointed? And at the end of the year, will you feel like rewarding yourself or punishing yourself? Put the pedal to the floor over the next number of weeks up until around Thanksgiving, and you guys should see some pretty immediate results. And like I said, provide that springboard. And all you got to do is really, like Alana said when she ended, is just get to work. It's not a hard business model. You don't have to write code. You don't have to take on a role that you don't feel comfortable with, that you don't want to do, but you do have to work. And we will provide everything else in terms of training, support, coaching, mentorship to help you find success here, in the hopes that when you get into our position that you're going to pay it forward for your people. So, guys, if you guys have anything that you need help with, let us know. We're always here to help you. Remember, if you know what activity they're having and we know what results those are getting, if you're not getting the results, we can help you. The more defined you are in your activity and your accountability, the more we can help you.
Thank you so much, Mike. That was a really great training. I hope you all got as much out of it as I did. So I'm going to stop the recording, and then we'll open up the floor for questions, comments. Thank you all so much for being here.